Long lunge pulses are a really nice, gentle way to start to get your body ready for some hip extension and a bit of length through the hip flexor. You can do this as a really gentle standalone exercise if you're going to start working that area throughout the session. Or you can also use it, and this is my preference, just to use it as a little bit of a prime before going into potentially a long lunge, leg lift, or iso hold or something like that. So we're talking now front split specific exercises. All you need is a yoga block if you're going into some iso work, or a mat as well, something comfortable for the knee to be on, yeah? Then from there, you're just going to chuck the yoga block or mat down. And because we're working a long lunge position, that means that our setup has to place this back hip into hip extension, because that's the goal. So that means I'm going to shift my hip forward, so much so that this back knee is now behind the line of the hip. So if I draw a straight line from the hip to the floor, boom, and the knee to the floor is there. So the knee is behind the hip, yeah? I'm now in hip extension. I can already feel a bit of a stretch, and I have to use my glute a little bit to make sure that I don't arch my lower back. Then this front foot is going to be well in front of the front knee. So if I draw a line from the knee to the floor, it's there. The front foot is going to be well in front of that, because I want to encourage more hip extension. If I'm back here, it's quite quick to run out of room, and then you might get limited by your dorsiflexion in the front leg. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure we have tons of room to be able to go, boom, forward. So hip extension in the back leg, yeah? Posture is upright. From here, hands can be on the hips, on the chest, wherever you like, and you're simply going to push your hip forward, squeezing your glute a little bit without sacrificing the posture. So the posture always stays upright, so we get maximum length from this front hip flexor here. And you're simply going to gently come in and back it off. Gently come in and back it off. Notice how I'm slowly going into that end range, and I'm kind of also experimenting or curious, where is in fact that end range? Where is the point where I cannot further go? So I'm going forward, squeezing the glute, kind of getting resistance, okay, exploring a little bit more, can't go further, back it off. And so a similar sensation or cue might be coming forward. You can feel that stretch building, building, building. It's pretty intense, I can't go further, okay, back it off. Yeah, so we're just going into this kind of end range, quick exposure, back out. End range, just test the water a little bit, dip the toe in, see what it feels like, back it off, yeah? And that's all you're doing. So this is a nice little prime for that CNS to get ready to be like, hey, we're about to work this area. Just so you know, we might be exposing ourselves to this end range position a little bit. Like I said, you could leave it here. This is a great little kind of mobilization exercise. You won't get much mobility out of it, but it's a nice way to, if it's feeling tight, loosen it up. You could even finish then with a couch stretch or something like this. And like I said, with this yoga block here, we could then go into some long lunge leg lift variations as well. And that is your long lunge pulses. Give it a go, see how those hip flexors feel.